Welcome to Fraud Friday. I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking loan fraud, bankers, public officials, and borrowers who got caught. Kris Roglieri's story. Lance and I both know Kris. We attended his conferences. Kris ran Prime Capital, a successful loan brokerage training company. Then he tried to get into lending. The gentleman we're talking about today was his chief operating officer, Christopher Snyder. He's pled guilty, Lance. Kris, for those of you who are new, go back and view our previous recordings. But he's sitting in a county jail in New York because of alleged threats he made against an FBI agent, which is very unusual in a white-collar crime case. But Lance, the walls are closing in. Kris Roglieri, I'm going to refer to Kris Roglieri as Kris and Christopher Snyder as Snyder, so we're clear. Kris's trial is going to be January 2026, and the judge has had enough. The judge has said, no more extensions. You're going to do that. And Lance, Kris has 3 public defenders, which is, you've had some experience in being expert witness and dealing with these unfortunate type of cases. That's unusual.
Yeah, I would find it very unusual that a person that has the high profile nature of Kris Roglieri having public defenders, but the feds have had plenty of time to attack his assets, take possession, so he may not be able to afford
No, they have
anything.
not attacked his assets. They have taken his assets. They've taken his house. They've taken his car collection, his motorcycles, his watches. And there's a reason why he is a public defender is his assets are pretty well dissipated, Lance.
Well, and the Department of Justice, which I assume is who's going after him, they have some very skilled attorneys, and in terms of litigation matters, quality of legal counsel means a lot.
And here's the situation in this particular case. With the guilty plea by Snyder, the question is, will he testify in the trial? We don't know. We can speculate, and Lance and I have no inside information, but I think it's fair to say when you have 3 co-conspirators, and you're trying to save your own hide, when you testify, when you plead guilty and agree to be a cooperating witness, good things can happen to you. We're not saying that's what's going to happen, but I think we all are adults. We know what happens in these situations. This is what Snyder agreed to in his plea agreement. He said, quote, and this is from the feds are saying, he says Roglieri transferred, stole, and fraudulently used loan funds by initiating wire transfers to himself and other people. He says 18 victims paid Prime Capital over $40 million, Lance, in fees. And what they did is, what the alleged scam was, Lance, we have an egg farm up in Minnesota. They need a $100 million line of credit to build this. This was back during the during the pandemic thing. Right. So it was difficult to do that. And Kris's scam was this: hey, what we're going to do is you give me $5 million, we'll put it in a separate account, and that's a good faith deposit. And what I'm going to do for you on that is that's going to pay all your interest payments for the next couple of years, so you don't have to worry about that. Sounds pretty enticing, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's, I think a big question is those good faith deposits were pretty significant. My idea of a good faith deposit is somebody paying up front for the packaging fee and the appraisal fee.
Which in our SBA world is what, $5,000?
Yeah. Well, sometimes it can be 5, 10, 15,000, but not not in the millions. But again, Bob, these are not unsophisticated borrowers, I think. A question should be asked.
You're talking about a company with a $100 million line of credit. They have you're right. They're not unsophisticated, and they quickly knew right away. They quickly figured this out because this went down December 2023. The funds were wired, and they knew within a couple of days we may have a problem here, and the time frame was so quick on by when the funds were wired, and then Kris allegedly, when he's running around with his new watches, that they quickly initiated complaints to the feds, and he was arrested very shortly thereafter. So, but you're right, and I've talked to people who were pitched by Kris, who felt very violated by the pitch. They viewed him as a friend, and Kris is a nice guy. You know him, I know him.
He's a very charismatic, personable. Yeah.
And there was no. He ran a very successful company. People respect. He was the leader in the industry, and a very successful conference. And you and I are also pretty astute. If you gave me a list of 5 people, he'd be number 4 or 5 on the list of who would do this.
Yeah, it is a surprising thing. Having had the opportunity, Bob, to speak at his big conference, the NACB, I think it was a tremendous conference, and he was looked at as a leader in the industry. And it's just disappointing the things that allegedly were done in his operation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm going to read this to you. This is what the FBI recorded in a phone conversation, and this was Kris's pitch to a borrower. So with our process, we usually require anywhere from 20 to 30% down based on the total capital stack. We call that essentially the ICA, the interest credit account. We require that down payment in the form of cash. Number 1, the IC is considered essentially additional collateral for the loan. Number 2, it acts as prepaid interest, so theoretically the client never has to make a payment to us on a quarterly or monthly basis when that money gets deposited in the account. The client, we give them a statement every month showing how much we've drawn down. There isn't any risk. The money gets put into a pledged account. And I think a common theme in fraud is when you say something that you're astute, I think I'm astute, and you go, oh, I get additional pledge collateral.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you comment on that.
Well, again, my big challenge is somebody who borrows the size or the amounts that we talked about in this particular case. They're not an unsophisticated business. They have to have legal counsel. They have to have CPAs and other advisors that work with them. Surely surely, Bob, you would think that they would run this by some of their people to see if it was legitimate.
The person who I talked to said that's what happened. He ran this agreement to his attorney and said, hey, we're ready to wire a couple $1 million to this guy. And his attorney got on the phone and said, don't you dare. You're going to wire it, and I don't care what it says. You have no control. So that attorney saved, and he said if we had done that, it was a family lending business, they'd be out of business.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
This is not a $10,000-$15,000 deposit that walks away and okay, it's uncomfortable. When you're wiring $2 and $5 million and that money disappears, people's livelihoods, generation wealth. I mean, this is tragic stuff. Anyway, so that's the update. Christopher Snyder pleading guilty for 1 count of loan fraud. We do not know if he's going to testify. I think I can say, I think it's pretty obvious that that's what's going to happen. We do not know what his sentencing hearing, but we do know that the walls are closing in with Mr. Roglieri, and it's a sad situation for all involved.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today for Fraud Friday, so you can stop criminals from stealing from you.